Not that song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1768, I'm your host, Mike Matthews. I feel great. Well, I'm awake. I feel a little exhausted. My day starts out with me helping my dog go outside. Because he's older, he needs a little help. And so that requires a little bit of heavy lifting.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Being that he's around 80 pounds. But you know what? That's life. That's called exercise.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's my daily morning workout that I do now. I'm sitting at Cafe Anyway, where I don't drink a thing because I know I'll die from the drinking of any alcoholic.
Anyway,
I don't know where I was going with that, but the point is that the podcast picture today is going to be great.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I will show it to you momentarily. Hey, you know the Fed might raise rates or
Daily
not, but our
Podcast.
stock market's not doing very well at the moment. I think it maybe went up a little bit yesterday. Oh, who put the TV on the stupid... I have to watch sports, so I'm turning the channel and not watching C-SPAN. C-SPAN is great. Why do people despise C-SPAN so much? I think today's podcast picture will be of the lovely river. It's a creek. It goes right down the middle of our wonderful area near Fremont. Fremont is huge. Fremont's got all these little districts, these little parts. In fact, nothing represents it better than when you go into the Whole Foods. They've got this cool side of the wall that's all decorated with all the different parts of what Fremont is. Alameda Creek is the name of it. Alameda Creek. That will be the podcast picture today. So as you know, people that think that they can do a podcast and then video it, or let's say they don't even do the audio part. They don't even upload the audio to Google Play and Apple iTunes and all the other ones. And they just do a video of them talking into a microphone, like what I'm doing right now. Okay, I can see a little bit of what I look like at this point with the...
And here's today's podcast picture.
reflection of the nearby mirror. It looks ridiculously boring. Okay, I'm looking right now at whoever the idiot was that changed the TV here at Cafe Anyway. They're watching some Comcast business. What is this? Sports. It's got the NBC Peacock Sports show. And this is what's running at 5:44 in the morning. And it's two guys and a woman. And the one guy in the middle's got stupid glasses on. I look good in glasses, I just have to tell you. And I'm going to probably have to start wearing glasses at some point because I'm in my 50s now. And the LASIK eye surgery doesn't last. Once you get into your 50s, they always say you got to redo it. So, but I can still see the TV and I can still see this is horrendously boring. Three guys talking into a microphone. The mic's on a mic stand. Hi, my name is Mike Matthews. It's mic stand. And it's just boring. So these people on YouTube that do their podcast where they're talking into a microphone. By the way, the podcast picture is not of me talking into a microphone, as I see myself in the reflection of this window nearby here at Cafe Anyway. I do not... This would not please anyone visually. I know it pleases you audioly. But it is the height of self-obsession, of self-delusion, that you think that you can post a video on YouTube talking into a microphone. Hey guys, it's Bill. I'm talking about the latest season of Doctor Who, or Walking Dead, or Game of Thrones, or... Just stop. Somebody on the Economist podcast today, he is from Iran, and he had been captured because he was speaking on actually just doing a podcast and speaking out about the government. They put him in jail for 6 years. And he is now a fellow at Harvard or Stanford or some big university where he discusses the current media landscape, the digital media landscape, and how we are so in our world, you know, we do these quick little news stories that are quick. Like he broke it down this way. He said it's very interesting. People either like the quick tweets that have to do with news, or they like the long form documentary that's on Netflix or on YouTube. There are a lot of documentaries. People go for that, or they go for the long form news podcasts like your Serial, which the second season of Serial was horrible. It was all about the guy that was captured that we got back, and we found out that he deserted his post, and I've got his name. But yes, that kind of long form stuff is what we love, we crave, I guess. We have time for, because we're going on these long commutes, these mega commuters. They had someone on NPR. So this is, my point in this is going to be how basically journalism sucks. And in some ways, I agree with the...
You are fake news.
Fake news. Fake news.
Because anyone can get on digital media and say whatever, like I am doing now. But on NPR, who's supposed to be, you know, they have to beg for their money every quarter. They have to get their funds. And now they have to actually mention sponsors to get the money. Because they need money. They pay their people good, from what I heard. Somebody said they get lots of money in radio, in National Public Radio. So I'm listening to National Public Radio. In the Bay Area, we've got this very popular station called KQED. And for years, it was lower in the ratings. But suddenly, when they put, with the rating system in radio, they got this thing called the People Meter, where they walk around with this sensor that used to be an honor system where you would write down in a piece of paper here, oh, I listened to this station today. And basically the stations that won were the stations with the biggest name recognition. Like Coke has name recognition. You just know, I don't know what soda I drank today, but okay, maybe it was the Coke, because that's the first name that pops into my head. Or what song did you hear on the radio today? Oh, let's see. What's the one with name recognition? Oh, Bruno Mars, because he's on freaking everything. So I heard a Bruno Mars song, I'm pretty sure. So with the radio station, you know, people are busy. They got their lives. What was the radio station you listened to? Oh, it was blah-de-blah. This is the issue I ran into when I was a program director for a radio station in Alabama. There was this one station in Huntsville, Alabama that always everybody, it had been around for so long. Whenever anybody was asked what station they listened to, they just said those call letters. So in the Bay Area, it was this one station that people always knew because it had been around forever. But when the People Meter things came on, and people no longer, the rating system no longer depended on your honor system that you were recalling from memory something, but actually listening to what you were listening to, the facts, ma'am, it was saying that this station KQED was number one. So that came out, about 10 years ago when they started using the People Meters. And KQED, when I was driving in today, was talking about the mega commuters. In fact, it was a reporter from the KQED station, because National Public Radio has affiliates all over the country. It's national, that's the name. And this guy said, well, these people that do super commutes, this one lady commutes from Sacramento, and she gets up at 4:30 in the morning, gets on the road by 6, gets to San Francisco by 11 from Sacramento. All day she does people's hair, and she drives Lyft or Uber, and then she finally finishes up by midnight and then drives home and gets home about 2:30. And I'm doing the math, and I said, wait, that means if she starts it all over again the next day, she only gets 2 hours sleep. Nobody can exist on that. they probably dropped somewhere that maybe she takes a day off during the week because she makes so much money in Sacramento, in San Francisco, and then can go back to Sacramento. We have all our names in California. If you're listening from outside of California, all our names, our city names, start with an S. We're sad this, sad that. And Sacramento is what is it? How many miles? It's over 100 miles, isn't it? To San Francisco from Sacramento. I have not done that drive in a while. I just know it's long. And people are doing these long commutes. Well, and then they mentioned somebody flying to New York every day from some other town. And they just gave a bunch of smatterings of different, this whole report lasted 5 minutes. And they zipped through all these facts, supposed facts. But there was no context. Like, tell me, how does that woman get any sleep? Oh, and then, but not on, aside from all of that just made your head spin around, they mentioned that, this woman in Sacramento also has a brother who just turned 40, who's had 27 brain surgeries, and who has had reconstructive hip and femur surgery, and she spends time with him every day. What, at 2 o'clock in the morning? Oh, and they listen to the radio. They listen to music. They listen to hip hop together. You are not telling me. There's no context. Everything you're telling me leads to a question that you're not answering, NPR. Come on. Ugh, I hate that kind of reporting. And this guy who's on The Economist, who's on the latest podcast on The Economist, this Iraq, what would you call him? Exile. Iranian exile, who had gotten into problems with his government over freedom of speech, discusses digital media and discusses how nowadays we've gone, less and less people are listening to podcasts, even though they like the long form news apparently, but they are more and more into the visual and the emotional. And I know this show is a bit emotional. I get emotional about stuff. Every time I look at you, Whitney Houston. And then there was a song, Once Upon a Time. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. But where's the... You've just created more questions. You haven't answered questions with the media. It seems media's creating more questions. Which my question is, who the heck is here today at Cafe Anyway, where we bring Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley? Let's say hi to them.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, the gift shop supervisor. I don't have to commute very far. I just walk across the street.
That's great. You just walk across the street?
Yes, Mike Matthews.
Excellent. It's good. I think we should all talk with a lisp.
I think so, too.
We should all talk with a lisp. Lisp. And that's the commute comment I'm giving to you today. Look who else is here. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, you look exhausted. I'm a bit exhausted. I'm a bit on the tired side. I've commuted through this radio show. I'm trying to make that work, and it's not working. Mike, I'm offended.
But if you get offended, that's the way the cookie crumbles. No.
Well, then the next show will have to be less offensive and bring you Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the podcast picture of Alameda Creek near Niles in Fremont with all of its little subdivisions. Oh, that's a good song by Rush.
4 straight years.
And that was episode 1768, 1768.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!